Well, here we are. Good afternoon. Hopefully the sound is okay. Hopefully the picture is okay. It's the afternoon of December 8th, Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. I'm Ray Potter. Welcome as you come in. And yesterday I put up a video recording about what the Marshmallow Man, Trump, and Perdition have in common. And I said that I would do a live stream today. And most of you probably know I usually do those in the morning. Unfortunately, it wasn't possible. Normally, I like to do those types of things with my studio equipment, not my phone. The phone has access to uh, other services, let me put it that way. However, it's not really good. And so, hopefully, right now, with the way things are with the internet, this will go up okay. So, I couldn't do it this morning, so I apologize, okay? Uh, we might get cut off. This is a time of day when a lot of people in this area are using up bandwidth. So, if I lose you, at least I made the effort, okay? A few things I wanted to bring up. I saw where the Israeli defense people and Mossad are saying, principally defense, Israeli defense people, and others in the Israeli government are saying that aliens made contact with leaders of the nations many moons ago, and that they asked that those leaders keep it quiet. And now they're starting to talk about it, and they've said that Trump knows it. I don't know if you all have been keeping track of that on the news media. It's not just the conspiracy channel, so to speak. It's mainstream as well. So I wouldn't say it's nonsense, zippity doo dah quirk. Um, better get ready. See, this is all part. If they are aliens, quote unquote, well, they probably don't have our best interests at heart. Not at this point in the game. Especially if they've made contact with the leaders of the nations, and the leaders of the nations are doing what they're doing with what? The COVID-19 and the vaccines. So this isn't good, okay? This isn't good at all. God doesn't work like that, okay? He might send messengers, but he's not going to allow them to continue doing this nonsense they're doing. Ginger lemon tea again, by the way, and it's not juiced up, it's not spiked, okay? Uh, So I had a friend just send me that information on the Israeli announcement again just a few minutes ago, and I mentioned that I would mention it here on the live stream. So I just want to bring that up because all of this is hitting us so fast right now, and it's not for our good. I don't buy that for a second. Not for the way things are going. We know enough about the vaccines now. The fact that they can hurt you, that they're used for tracking you, that they can interfere with your DNA functions, synthesize proteins that may not be the best for you. Also can cause women to experience infertility or spontaneous abortion, as they call it, which of course is a miscarriage, because it hurts the placenta. All this is becoming known now, and they're doing it in your face. They're still proceeding. Pfizer, for instance, is trying to get emergency use authorization really quick so they can keep up with the money trail. It has nothing to do with your health. It has nothing to do with your health at all. And I think most of you know that. So anyway, the alien thing is coming now. Just get ready. Please tell my viewers what. Oh yeah, Project Bluebeam. Yeah, Project Bluebeam is where, and that's part of the nanoparticles in the aluminum in the atmosphere. They can actually project an image in the sky or anywhere else for that matter. If any of you have seen those Bluebeam uh, videos on YouTube, like the whale coming up out of the floor of the gym and then splashing down, or for instance, the cities appearing in the sky, or if you've been to see the Michael Jackson show at I think it's at the Venetian. I can't remember for sure right now, but basically you have a hologram of Michael Jackson. So these things have been around for a long time. So all of that's all a possibility. I don't know who these bad people are going to be that come out and pretend to be aliens or whatever, but this is not going to be good. Okay. So anyway, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the alien thing. I know it's a lot of fun, but we have more. I mean, that could turn into something very serious. But I'd like to get on to some other aspects of things right now, and that is a little discussion about what I put up last night. And this particular video I'm calling discussion: Marshmallow, Perdition, Trump, and aliens. Okay, so we already covered the alien part, and we might get back into that a little later, not today, but in another broadcast. I might even bring in some people that know a little bit more about what's going on with that. Maybe we can do it, even a nightcap on it. We'll just wait and see. It's not misinformation, CA. There's probably a plan to have something come out as if they are aliens, or they could be the fallen angels like we've talked about before, although they're supposed to be locked up in the bottomless pit. If they start showing up, that means that they've been loosed, which means that things are really going to become crazy. Yeah, the world has become so unrecognizable, especially by those who want to put us in bondage. They're worse now than they've ever been. So I came right out and I said it last night, and I've said it basically before, but I think all of the evidence points to the fact that Trump isn't who he says he is. Now, why do I want to bring this up? Am I for this election fraud that's going on? Of course not. I think that needs to be dealt with, and it needs to be dealt with in a very possibly even a violent manner. This is very serious stuff. Again, I've had some, I agree with Mark Pantano, for instance, and some others on the extent of this voter election fraud. But as I said before, a lot of this hasn't come out yet. I've had a little suspicion on Linwood and Sidney Powell, of course, and of course General Flynn for various reasons. But I am also recognizing that there has been some monkeying around with the election system, especially in the 5 states in question. I don't doubt that. As I said, I think Trump is going to retain the White House, and he's going to do it by some other means, possibly the SCOTUS thing now, where Texas has put in a suit against those other 5 states, and the Supreme Court has agreed to hear it. So there are still a lot of things that can happen here, and Biden and his no matter what anybody thinks about whether it's election fraud or voter fraud or not, Biden is a problem. He's had these ties to China. His son has those ties to China. They're knee deep in the Ukraine and lots of other knee deep, more like neck or eye deep in all of these things. And they're obviously Chinese. Well, they associate with the Chinese beyond just tourists. Let's say that. Okay, I think there's enough evidence to show that. It just came out that for instance, Congressman Swallowswell, as we call him, Swalwell out of California, apparently had a girlfriend who was a Chinese secret agent, and helped to raise funds for him and some other people in the Democratic Party. So these things are real. All the things that they did accuse Trump of, they were doing themselves with China and with Russia and Ukraine. But at any rate, that's what I said about the wicked destroying the wicked. It doesn't mean that Trump's a good guy, and it doesn't mean that they're necessarily the good guys or the bad guys, the other side. It means that this whole thing is so corrupt that it's almost impossible to save at this point without divine intervention. And I see that the American continent, the American people being saved, but I don't see the U.S. government being saved, not by any means. So at any rate, we have these people that want to say that Trump is so smart that he can play this 4D chess. But he's never taken down the deep state, has he? Hi, Eliza Jean. Nice to see you. Yeah, he's never taken down the deep state. He's supposed to be playing this 4D chess, and they're saying, oh, it's coming, it's coming. Well, as I said in the video last night, what has he ruined? What has he destroyed? What has he taken down? You. He couldn't play 4D chess with the state, or there's something else going on down the road. But he wasn't smart enough. He couldn't play 4D chess to see that he was being set up by Fauci, Gates, Birx, Redfield, etc., the World Health Organization, the CDC, and I know he's taken the money and moved it around, but it's still out there being used. He funded Gavi, right? And we could go on and on and on about these things. The point is, he's either not as smart as the Q people want to pretend he is, or anybody else for that matter, or he's stupid and he doesn't learn his lessons. Because if he was playing 4D chess with the deep state, how could he fall for this scan pandemic? It's all a play. People have said that this is a big drama, a big theatric show to get us distracted, to get us so we don't know what's going on. I've talked about information warfare, and I don't mean it by InfoWars, I mean it propaganda. I'm talking about psychological operations to take down the United States, and not even the United States so much as the American people. They're dividing us more and more by the day. More and more by the day. So the bottom line is that Trump didn't take down the deep state. He didn't destroy the deep state. He destroyed you. He took away your livelihoods, your jobs, your belongings, your property, your homes. That's what got destroyed, and it's not done yet. Some of the things in the government might be taken out as well, but the real fact of the matter is this champion of the people wasn't our champion at all. Everything he's done has helped the deep state and the military-industrial complex and the banking system, not you. So who did he destroy? Maybe some people, in the end, maybe some people in the FBI. It looks like Kleinsmith's the only one that's going to go down in the FBI there, the one that changed that one email. Looks like he's going to go down. Probably nobody else. We'll see, but if they do, it's because Trump considers them a personal enemy. He's not going to do it for your good and benefit. Okay? Famine is coming. We all know that. Now, I said last night, I said, there wouldn't be so much a famine of bread to eat as there would be the Word of God. They're trying to cut off the Word of God. They've taken it out of entertainment. They've taken it out of just about everything, right? And now they want to inject you. And there are scientists out there right now that are saying that, yeah, this thing will dull your conscience and dull your desire to have this connection with the spiritual. That's real now. They're admitting it. So they want to separate you from God. Why? So that they can become your God. Not just in name only, but in reality. That's what they want. And that's exactly what Lucifer, for lack of a better term, that's what you all know him as, was asking for, was demanding actually in the war in heaven. And so now we're having to deal with that. So at any rate, I wanted to come on and I'll let you all ask some questions about that. I just want to make sure that you understand that Trump didn't destroy the deep state. He destroyed you and your families and your loved ones and your friends and your acquaintances and your business partners, et cetera, et cetera. That's what's gone down when you really honestly view this thing. Then finally, I just want to bring up before I go to the chat here, and I know who wasn't arrested? Barr wasn't arrested. No, of course not. And he hasn't really arrested anybody else except ranchers, farmers, and then people like Epstein. He pretended like they suicided themselves so he could sneak them away so they could live their life somewhere else. Where's Ghislaine Maxwell? No perp walks, no mug shots, nothing. Yeah, I know. It could be she's totally innocent. I kind of doubt it. But she might have some mitigating circumstances. I'm not really sure what those might be, however. The only other thing I wanted to mention before we go to this is to the chat is I noticed that Kash Patel has been called back from the Asian trip that he and the acting Secretary Miller were doing. Now, Kash Patel is the Chief of Staff for the acting Secretary of Defense. He's the Chief of Staff for the DOD, for the Pentagon. That's interesting. With Biden's connections to China and with a lot of the cabinet choices that he is already making and some of those other things, there might be now a real tug of war within the DOD over this. Esper being taken out, and Miller and Kash Patel and Ezra Cohen Watnick coming in were not mistakes. Taking Space Force and taking out from underneath the secretaries of the different services and also the Special Forces, same thing. That basically, in effect, goes right from the Space Force Secretary Commander, the Special Forces Secretary, who is now Ezra Cohen Watnick, goes right to the Secretary of Defense, acting on Miller, and then right to the President. So all of those other lines of command and control are now gone. So Trump has divided the DoD outside of their ability to really deal with it. And that's good. But again, I don't consider that necessarily for your benefit, because that's exactly what the Antichrist would do as well. And I'm sticking with that at this point because of all the other things that have happened. And I think you all understand that. So watch and see what's happening at the Pentagon here with this move by Texas to sue those other 5 states at SCOTUS, who has agreed now. There were some questions as to whether SCOTUS would agree to hear the case. They have. I don't know if that's going to be real quick. I would suspect so, but I don't know how quick. But it's definitely going to of the election, whatever the false part or the good part is, whatever. I don't know about voter fraud and all that. I do believe that there was a conspiracy by Dems and by China and maybe some other actors to cause some problems here. And I think there's some evidence to suggest that. Whether it's enough to overturn the election as far as the voter numbers is concerned, I don't know. But the fact that there has been some of this deleterious behavior means that we have been attacked by foreign powers and by subversive traders in our government, and that needs to be dealt with whether Trump is the Antichrist or not. Okay, so that's kind of neither here nor there for me. So that's all I wanted to bring up. If you let's see, Dead Sea Scrolls proved 100% it hadn't changed. You're talking to somebody. I think you're talking about whether the Bible's changed or not. It depends. It depends. It depends more on the translation than what the ancient texts say, but there are some exceptions to that. And I'm well qualified to talk about the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Nag Hammadi codices and the Gnostic codices and the history of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd centuries and 1st century BC. I'm very, very qualified. There are some people that will know why I don't go there. I think I've pretty well shown that that's the case, however. Okay, so let's get to the fact that this isn't going to be as easy to do as with my computer because of the size of the screen and some other things, but I'll do the best I can. Yeah, Roy, I have a family member who was in the military and was just called up to Cuba. It's very possible. Yeah, the elections could be voided, Jesse. That's true. SCOTUS could call for a new election, or there might be some other lesser remedies. I really don't know how that's going to turn out. I just know that I am convinced that there was some hanky-panky going on, and we can't have that, Trump being the Antichrist or not. As far as the military being called up, this happens frequently, okay, especially under the circumstances that we have now with China. I wouldn't necessarily believe that just because they're going to Cuba, that lots of people are going to end up in Gitmo. There are some other things that can happen from that, and I'm not sure where that's going to go. Most of the people that get accused of treason are not tried in military courts. As a matter of fact, that's a rarity, and there are some laws to prevent that. They still have to go through the regular system. There are some exceptions, and I've talked about those before, but I don't see a massive number of arrests and incarcerations of civilian people at Gitmo. I just don't see that. It would go against a lot of things. Not saying it isn't possible, because when all this stuff starts to roll out, people lose their minds, okay? And that includes people in government. Okay, let's see what else we've got going on. What is Jesus supposed to do when he does come? Answer this question literally and terrestrially. Terrestrially? What's he supposed to do? Well, first of all, you're not supposed to wait on him to save you, okay? That's the first thing. As I said in my video last night, it's real important for us to be like Noah and prepare, to do as much preparation as we can as we're able to do. And then God will do what he's going to do. And essentially what's going to happen is there's going to be a big fight. Okay, that's basically what's going to happen. And in the end, according to the biblical story in Revelation and elsewhere, God throws the wicked away, bundles them up, separates them from the wheat, bundles them up, and then throws them into the fire. Nothing could make me happier, okay? I feel bad for a lot of those people, and I sure hope I'm not one of them, you know? One of the things I've talked about is when you look at somebody else and you see sins in them, you're supposed to immediately, rather than judging them, you're supposed to turn around on yourself and examine yourself and see if any of those fallacies or sins are in you, and then work to correct them. Ask God to help you to correct them. But at any rate, so Jesus, there's a lot of things that he could do, and basically it's to return the laws and our lives back to the Edenic state. That's basically what it's going to be, and I don't want to get into any more detail on it than that. Yeah, he should have deep sixed the previous bureaucracy, and he didn't, which should tell you something. At first, we thought it was just because he was a novice politician. Also, I had Republican insiders that told me, well, Trump couldn't do it because he didn't know all the right people. He didn't have people like George Shultz and those guys that Reagan had, Caspar Weinberger, etc., that he came in as a novice. Well, there's some truth to that, but he also, we would really like to know who was telling him to hire the people that he did. And those people should be severely dealt with. But I suspect that Trump, obviously was the guy who finally gave the okay. And if he's as stupid about that as he has been about the scandemic pandemic, that means he knows what he's doing and he's complicit in the takedown of the country. He is the destroyer. He is the son of perdition. He is the stay-puffed marshmallow man of Ghostbusters. Okay, something was pulled down, but you still have a copy of it. Not sure what that would have been. Okay, it's really hard for me to do the chat on this phone, but it's the only way I could do it and do anything this afternoon. Okay, so let's see. Okay, yeah. All right, so we'll just keep going. Why would General Perna go from 500 doses of vaccines to be released to 40 million vaccines to be released within a week? Why would they delay the vaccine from October to December? They keep changing. My understanding is that the trigger date is around the 14th. Now, he didn't say he was going to from 500 doses to 40 million. There were 500 million doses, according to the Aberdeen Proving Ground contract with Moderna, 500 million doses. I think what he's saying is that he's going to be able to put out 40 million doses in the first week. And as I first said when they took down the video YouTube did, it was called Surprise Attack. And basically his wording was that within 20, he had been interviewed back like in October or so, and he said when he gets the order from the president, it'll be the whole process will start within 24 hours. Well, then the way he worded it a few weeks ago when I put up Surprise Attack, it was that everybody would be receiving it within 24 hours. Well, of course that's impossible, but the reason why I took that on face value is because I don't really know everything as far as the logistics is concerned that's backed up. Of course, they're going to use local, state officials, people, military people. They even said the other day that military people will be there during the injections into the people. So this is getting very serious. It has nothing to do with the vaccine to protect you from COVID. It's not that, not in any way, shape, or form. And if you doubt me on that, go look it up and you'll find out for yourself. Zechariah, yeah, very, very important. Zechariah 14, who's that? The Watchman. Yeah, you're still around. You've been around for a while. If you're the same guy I think you are. So, all right. Let's see here. Yeah, Zechariah 3:2. Let's not go there today, okay? Maybe I'll do that. Yaakov Yisrael? Wow, interesting. We'll talk about that a little later, okay, when you want to talk about these things that Jesus does and all of that, okay? I don't want to I want to talk about what Trump's up to and answer the questions about the situation with the son of perdition and all of that, because I think that's where we are. If we know, then Trump knows. Oh, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He can't pretend like he doesn't know. Okay, and there is a war on CO2, which is a war on life. That's what that is, because CO2 is a necessary part of the four parts to have life. You have to have CO2, oxygen, you have to have water, and you have to have sunlight. And you stop any one of those and you kill off things real fast. Okay. What are the chances? The CMA is active right now. I think it's probably hitting us at this moment, but we're on I think it actually started this morning, so we may have on this side, because we were kind of oblique to it. It was the dark side of the earth that got it, or the light side of the earth. We were on the dark side. The light side of the earth was getting it yesterday during their daytime, starting this morning about. But it was right in between there. I haven't noticed any terrible interferences right now, but that's not to say there aren't any. But we've been kind of oblique to it on the North American continent, so that might be the reason why. I hope we're not fighting like caged animals, but of course they're setting it up to do that. Arrest warrant 2020 2012 7.2 by Cindy Courier. Oh no, I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I know who Cindy Courier is. She tries to do a good job, I guess, but I don't subscribe to her viewpoints at all. Sorry, I don't mean to insult her, but no, I don't think so. What would be her possible sources, for instance? No, I don't think so. Again, not to put anybody down, but there are a lot of people out there that just no. Baal. What about Baal, Orion? Baal, of course, is the pagan Canaanite god, and that's Baal and Baphomet, and all of those are kind of the same thing. Okay, all kind of the same thing. Yeah, dude. Children under 16 were not in the trials, or pregnant women, and yet, yes, I know that, Janet. We the people, very good. See, this whole thing. There's been the testing. What's the big rush on a virus that doesn't kill, but about, what is it, 0.06, 0.06%? Is that what it is, or is it 0.04? Anyway, 0.03, 0.03%, which is 0.003 out of 100%. What's the rush? Because it isn't about the virus. It's about something else that they're planning on doing. One, possibly instituting the cyber financial system, the cryptocurrency, the tracking, the surveillance, being able to read your thoughts even, or give you thoughts, or whatever. And also, of course, it's changing your DNA, and it's also possibly an infertility drug. It's something that could cause, like I said at the beginning, spontaneous abortions, which are miscarriages, or just that the placenta is destroyed and it can't accept the zygote. So there are a lot of things going on here, and what's the big hurry? Well, obviously, it's something to do with Shemesh, like I said before, the sun. They're worried about maybe what God's doing, or maybe they're going to play this alien card and pretend like the aliens are here to save you from the big bad men. I really don't know. All I know is you got to keep your wits about you, and use the spirit of discernment as much as you can. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, I know about the coffins. I'm aware of those. Jesse Ventura talked about that several years ago, and I think there's something to it, but there's probably more to it than that. Yeah, they will use our DNA as memory in computers. Oh yeah, I can understand that. Tell you female children, people. Yeah, nobody should be taking this vaccine. Nobody at all. Yeah, I know it's very similar to what's in Revelation there, the Watchman. Yeah. Yeah, Alpha and Omega, glorifying Jesus. Yeah. Do you really know what that means, though? I've talked about it before. I'm glad you're aware of it, but it's Alpha and Omega are just the Greek letters that coincide with the Hebrew letters Aleph and Tav. And it's why I've said that Middle Eastern people don't think linearly like Western people do. So we think things have to follow a strict chronological timeline. That's not the case at all. It's circular, so events happen when they happen. And it doesn't necessarily mean it has to fall in a chronological order. It's on a circle rather than a line. Yeah, that's a good point, Joel Miller. People believe that if they get the vaccine, everything goes back to normal. Far from it. They're going to keep this game going, just like they do the perpetual wars. We went into Afghanistan almost 20 years ago, right? And we're still there. You know, they want these perpetual things where they keep control of you and they can milk you for. That's what I said. Trump didn't save you. He didn't save your homes and your jobs and your families. He hasn't even worked to save you as men and women. He hasn't taken down the deep state. He fell for Fauci's bullshit, or he was complicit in it, or he was complicit in the deep state and everything that's happened to keep your mind off of what's really happening and to destroy you. And that's the fact of the matter. That's what's really happened. The deep state didn't get taken down, as I said at the beginning of this. You did. You lost your jobs. You lost your money. You lost your family members. You got lonely. You became, well, not you all, but you start drinking too much, whatever. That's what Trump did. And those deep state people that he's going to take down, like possibly Biden and some of these others because of their ties to China, that's just the wicked destroying the wicked. He's not doing it for you. He's doing it for him. Go look at Daniel 11. If he's who I think he is, you need to go look and read Daniel 11, the whole chapter, and then compare it to Revelation 13. Okay, do that. That's a good thing to say, Hope Champion, yes. Not just about the virus. This is a springboard for anyone that wants power and money. The world is clearly in need of discernment. Absolutely. Yeah, Suzanne Greenberg, that's right. Make us into a digital 666 beast system, artificial life form. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. High frequency is pretty active for the hams in here anyway. Yes. Hi, Deplorical. How you doing? I saw on Twitter, I don't know what the circumstances are, but someone said that they were getting alerts from the federal government that citizens should have shortwave and two-way radios. Has anybody else seen that? That would fall into this high frequency ham radio situation, because with high frequency ham radio you can talk practically halfway around the world or so. It depends on atmospheric conditions, but yeah, I would suggest to everybody that you get at least some FRS radios for you and your family, okay, in case the grid goes down. They're independently powered. Try to keep them from being exposed to EMP or solar flares or whatever. The way you do that is build yourself a little Faraday cage, and I won't tell you what to do for that. Look at your own, at your search engines and find out how to make a Faraday cage or how to protect your electronics. Okay, you just have to keep the radio frequencies and electromagnetic frequency spectrum from burning up your circuits. Yeah. Diane Nolan, thank you. I appreciate all the things you say and do. And yeah, that's true. I'm disgusted with this whole situation. We have to stand for what we believe in no matter what. No one should force someone else to take something we know will hurt us. Well, no one should force you to take anything, period, right? Yeah, this is way out of line. Oh, hey, hi, Jesse. Oh, good, okay. So, it's tomorrow. Okay, so I misunderstood it. So Jesse's saying that this CME impact is at 1800 hours Universal Time Code, 12 noon Central tomorrow here on the 9th. So it's going to hit 1800 hours UTC. Okay, that's 12 noon Central tomorrow. Wait, today's the 9th. No, tomorrow's the 9th. All right, so it's going to hit us tomorrow. The U.S. will be sun facing. Oh, the U.S. will be sun facing. Oh. All right, everybody, did you see that? I saw somebody try to counter you today, Jesse, on my Twitter. I don't know if you saw that. Maybe it was on, yeah, I think it was on Twitter. They were saying, that, no, the sun's inactive. It's not doing anything. And I said, well, what I saw sure doesn't look inactive. We might, our shields are down, and that's going to be a bad thing. So thank you for keeping us up to date, Jesse. I so much appreciate you helping us. And you know how I feel about the sun. The sun is a lot like government. It's a dangerous servant and a fearful master, right? I mean, really, when you think about it. So, but I also know that it's necessary that this thing be done, because I don't know what else other than God's direct intervention with his army of angels in his own power, which this kind of is, that can slow down this demonic takedown of mankind. So thank you for that. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Jesse from BP Earthwatch says that the impact update is 1800 hours UTC, that's Universal Time Code. That's when it's going to happen, and that's 12 noon Central tomorrow on the 9th. So it's going to be happening at 1100 hours my time. Okay, so just take it from there. 12 noon Central tomorrow. We'll be facing the CME as it comes in. So just be prepared. I think this is what Klaus Schwab was worried about. I think that's what part of the lockdown is about. They know that God's pissed. Okay, they know God's pissed, and they're trying to beat him to the punch. They're trying to take as many of us with them as they can. Yeah, police have been losing ground in Portland for a long time. Yeah, that's nothing unusual. Nothing unusual at all. Debbie Long, I think I can answer that. You're asking BP Earthwatch, Earth-facing CME or impact from it? Well, yeah, the Earth's going to get hit by the CME. And apparently Jess is saying that it looks like the U.S. will be facing the sun when this happens. So this is going to be, if it's as strong as it looks like it is with our shields down, this could do a lot of damage. Okay? Hope Champion, you're talking about a sickness, Indian city and all that. A lot of this is going on. They're releasing all kinds of pathogens all over the world. It doesn't surprise me at all, or just chemical and biological weapons. Yeah, that's a good thing to say, Dan Glass. Lock and load. Keep yourselves. As I said back when Antifa and BLM were busy, you need to be prepared to defend yourselves, because things could go crazy within a very, very short time. I agree with you, Sustainable Stewards. Family must come together, friends. When men lose their jobs over vaccines, which is going to happen, it's all the show. See, how has Trump saved you? His legacy is going to be the mark of the beast, that you can't buy or sell without this vaccine. And there'll be more to it. The vaccine is just kind of the initial attack of the mark. Then it's going to go to something much more serious. But the vaccine will certainly be used in the same way. So yeah, we need to stand up and help each other. Angela Kern, if you don't know about the coffins, yeah, they were, look up well, they probably took them down. Jesse Ventura and some other people did, on his conspiracy theory program, looked at some of the big, huge coffins that hold 4, 5, 6 people, they're real. I just don't know exactly how they're going to be used. Maybe they really were just for regular cemeteries, but I don't think so underneath the circumstances, because we see now that Deagle.com has said that the United States will be reduced in population from 350 million that we are now, approximately, to 100 million by 2025, which is just 4 years away. The process is starting now. They want to eliminate 250 million people out of the U.S. by 2025. Think about that. Yeah, they'll have to get you to take the vax. They'll have all types of coercions. You can't get your food. You can't go to work. You can't get your checks, your stimulus checks. You can't get your IRS returns. All sorts of things. Yeah, deans of Nomotica, probably. Yeah, probably family size. Yeah, I know. It's terrible what they're doing. It's terrible. So like I said, when I first started talking about this back in 2009, 2010, 2011, these people will do anything to retain power. They will even defy God to retain power. That's how crazy they are. You or I, we just want to be with our family, go to the beach, have a nice cabin in the mountains, take our wife out to dinner, go play with our kids at the park. Not these people. These people worship your destruction. They worship a demon, the son of perdition, the man of sin, the son of perdition, the son of the devil, because he follows him so much, he is destructive. They will destroy everything rather than lose power. The coffins are called casket liners. Yeah, oh no, I realize that, Nitro. We're not, and that's why I made that caveat a few minutes ago. There are casket liners that's true. Or, yeah, that line the casket when it goes in, I know, but these were bigger than that. These are substantially bigger than the casket liners, substantially, okay? That's what I first thought when I saw it, Nitro, FC1. And maybe some of them were because I couldn't tell about the size from some of the faraway pictures. But I know for a fact some of them are huge. They're large enough where 4 or 5 coffins could go into them. Okay, and they're not going to use them for coffin. I mean, they're not going to put coffins in them. I don't think that's what the plan is. It is for a mass culling of the population. I think that's very likely. True grit, good point. If all these things happen, the population could not be controlled. It would be a complete disaster. See, they don't care about that. They just assume that we have total mayhem and tribulation and fighting amongst ourselves. That'd make it easier on them. See, the end result is getting rid of you. How it happens is, they're just going to help it along. So yeah, it's going to be bad. And it's troubling. I don't want to see this. And I've done everything I can possibly do at my level to try to oppose it. Yeah. There's hardly any ammo out there to buy. The government bought a lot of it up, I'm pretty sure. And then the people, of course, went crazy like they do with the toilet paper. And I don't blame them. Don't misunderstand me. I don't blame them at all. Yeah, he saves Wall Street, but he won't save you. There was enough money given out both when they did that stimulus thing back in 2008, when they paid off the banks and helped them out, basically bailed them out. There was enough money then to pay off nearly everybody's mortgage in the country. Think about how much that would have helped the economy to free up that money. But see, they don't want you to be free. They don't want you to be free. It's about control. Living Adam, man. Well, thank you. That's very nice. We love your work, Roy. Stay strong and pleased with us. May Yahweh bless you. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Same to all of you. Same to all of you. Yeah, this is the new normal. We haven't even gotten to what they want to be normal yet. They're still taking us down this path, and it's going to be really bad. Yeah, Redeemed. That's how I understood it too. The coffins are black, stable, and degradable 8-man size. Yeah, that's the way I understood it too. Okay, Orion, you're talking about Lord Balaam. Were you the one that just put up the thing about Zechariah? I think you were. When you're reading in the Old Testament, Lord could be Adonai, right? It could be, which means Lord, by the way, it means my Lord. Adon means Lord. Baal is Lord as well. Baalim means lords, okay, gods. But you have to look at the context, okay, because, to say that, for lack of a better term, I'm just going to use the regular English version of it. Jehovah is the Lord Jehovah. Actually, it's Jehovah God, right, is actually how it's translated. Yahweh God, right, Jehovah God. It's not necessarily talking about Balaam. Don't get messed up with that. Okay, Baal is a Canaanite god. It means God. Okay, it does. And of course Elohim, which is Lord, which is God rather, and then Yahweh, which is not really the name Lord. They use the name Lord Adonai to replace the tetragrammaton, the YHVH. So when it's talking about the Lord, just because it sounds like Baal and Yahweh are the same thing, they're not. Okay, that's been a big mistake. A lot of that has to do with people trying to confuse the issue and to justify uh, their conduct. Let me put it that way. Okay, and it gets deeper than that. But Baal and Yahweh are not the same. They're both called Lord. That's true. That's true. But when you look in the Old Testament and you see Lord God, the actual, when you translate it to Hebrew, it's actually Yahweh Elohim. It's not Baal. Okay? All right? Again, context matters. All right? Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Jacob Israel. I appreciate that. Oh, I guess you're giving that to Living Adam, man. Okay, wonderful. Like I said, I don't want to get into all the. There are a lot of other scriptures we could pull in: Zechariah, Jeremiah, um, more of Daniel. I mean, just a lot of things. We could bring in Gnostic scriptures, which a lot of people would really object to. You know, the Nag Hammadi codices. Uh, while a lot of that was Gnostics, and the Gnostics were primarily Jews who had left Jerusalem at the destruction of the temple and became very dissatisfied with Yahweh, turned him into Yaldabaoth. A lot of you will understand what I'm talking about, and because they just couldn't understand what happened to them. But there are other factors involved there, and like I said, I've studied a lot of that. There's a lot of good stuff in the Nag Hammadi codices. I really like the Gospel of Thomas, for instance, and some others. Gospel of Thomas is probably my favorite. But there's some truth there. There's no doubt about it. But there's also some disappointment on the part of those Jews who became Gnostics. Okay, and so that those legends and those other things that are kind of blown out of context from the original Torah occur, and it's kind of sad actually, but it was inevitable. Paul J. Fleischer, when in the service, ever hear anything from your comms about radar anomalies, UFOs? I didn't personally. Um, obviously I know about the Navy running into that thing from the USS Nimitz down in the off the coast of California back a few years ago. I did a nightcap about that as a matter of fact. David Torrey, what have you been right about, Roy Boy? Well, who are you, David Torrey? Hey, Liza Jean, you could throw David Torrey off there. Those little one-liners I don't particularly care for. That's not adding anything to our conversation. Going back to you, Paul. I've been aware of that. When I was a young guy in junior high school, I was very much a UFO aficionado. And my mom, who worked at Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland, had an astrophysicist from Goddard Space Flight Center come over and have dinner. And we went into the back room, and of course I'm 14, so he can tell me a few things, and he said UFOs are real. Okay, I'll just tell you that. Okay, but militarily, no, I haven't heard anything militarily other than what I talked about with the USS Nimitz. And it looks like David Torrey is not gonna, because I can't throw him off of here, off my phone. But if Liza Jean or BP Earthwatch don't get you, David, I will later. Okay, that's a promise. We're here to talk up to talk to each other and to open up the windows of heaven, not to call each other names and to be confrontational. Yeah, no vax, they want to starve you. That's where it's going. Absolutely. I am Daniel. Hi, Daniel Grant. Yeah, that's good. Okay, very good point. Gina Rose, you always bring some good things up. And thank you for all you do. I appreciate you. I like what you're saying. You say you think that the AC is the AI, but Trump is the beast. These things are really, and I'm not disagreeing with you. Like I said, even if Trump isn't the AC, he has the AC spirit. But here's what I think happened, and about the brain implants and about the nanotech particles and changing us into silicon based rather than carbon based. You should probably know all that because we've talked before. What I think happened is that Trump was promised immortality, through through these secret societies if he would do what they told him to do. However that would work out. His genealogy fits. His mother's name was Mary. His dad's middle name was Christ. There are a lot of really odd things going on there. The gematria adds up. The Tarragon adds up, if you know what I'm talking about, rightly dividing the word of God, and then placing Trump and all these things. The situation at Walter Reed when he went in, I am certain that he had, most everybody they think they get popped in the left eye. Nobody sits in a chair and somebody hits them. No, they're doing something to insert something back there, which is done probably surgically, but probably while they are awake, and it causes a lot of contusion and bruising and bleeding. They did the same thing with Trump, but they covered it up with makeup. So my take is he is plugged into the AI. Okay, I agree with you there, and that the spiritual demon, the spiritual fallen angel that we know as is Halel ben Shakar, who led the whole rebellion in heaven, is somehow behind that, or one of his lieutenants like Azazel, however you want to say his name. And Trump is Apollyon. And then there are different ways to say the other name, Abaddon or Abaddon. I had somebody today say that, Donald Trump is a bad Don. Abaddon. I thought that was a pretty good play on words. So anyway, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that there are all kinds of possibilities about how this thing is put together. Yeah, glorifying Jesus. Yeah, First Thessalonians. That's exactly what Paul says there, and I can't wait because I miss my wife. Yeah. What is Trump up to? So say you. Well, it's manifestly obvious. Inverted Earth. Did he take down the deep state? Who did he destroy, inverted Earth? Who has been hurt under Trump's watch? Not the deep state. You, your friends, your family, your fellow Americans, your fellow human beings. Well, David Torrey, you're just damn lucky. What, are you employed by the government so you get a paycheck when you're ordering other people to close their businesses down because they're non-essential? David Torrey, go away. Go away, David Torrey. I promise I'll throw you off of as soon as I can. As soon as, if none of my mods are here. Okay, we've been going for almost an hour. I don't want to keep you much longer than that. Well, Nitro, if this isn't the actual mark, this is the preparation for it, and it has all the same attributes, right? Characteristics, let's put it that way. You can't buy or sell without it. You're going to be restricted with travel. They're trying to make you into not male or female. They're going to sterilize. You'll be able to be surveilled easier, and change your DNA, all that stuff, okay? Yeah. CB Radio's good. Pam Jones, hi Pam, how you doing? Yeah, the Pedophile Disclosure Project, and did the introduction to my channel. Thanks, Pam. It's nice to see you. I hope everything's going well. As you know, I'm going crazy. I'm doing plenty of things. CB Radio's good. The range is limited. Normally about just a few miles. All the radios are line of sight unless you can use repeaters or bounce off the atmosphere. So you know that with CB radio, you can enter into the troposphere, or what they call sporadic E, which is bouncing off the E layer of the ionosphere. The problem is there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to talk to the very person you want to that way. That's the downside. But at least you can get communications. Let me hasten to add here. When you get your radios, CB radio, ham, FRS, GMRS, whatever you decide on, remember that there might be malevolent people that want to know where you are. They could be people that want to steal food, want to hurt you, rob you, kill you, whatever. So you have to have a system of radio security. Just because you make contact with somebody, and you might need somebody in an emergency, you have to have some precautions put into place so that you're not accosted by assailants, okay? Just so that you know. Oh, okay. The real BP Earthwatch is trying to get to my attention. Let me go back and see where he is. I don't know where he is here. When I get to talking, I don't watch the chat as closely as I should. Yeah, if you want to know who I'd like to have thrown off BP Earthwatch, Jesse, it's David Torrey. He has looks like a D inside of a red circle or a purple circle or something like that. Liza Jean, I'd really like to get rid of him if either of you two can possibly. I don't see where BP Earthwatch is trying to get my attention. I'm so sorry. I missed it somehow. Let me go to the end here and see if I can find him. Wow, ooh, this goes a long way down. Could it shut down our vehicles? CMA, yeah, it sure could. Yeah, if it's strong enough, it could burn up the circuitry in your battery and in your ignition. Absolutely. Your computer chip that runs the cars these days, you bet. Sharn Fafiran, I'm so sorry, Roy, but you do know a little, but you are so far out in left field. That's all right. I don't care. Roosevelt, how you doing? And no airplane travel without the shot. That's right, Roosevelt. Hey, there's a guy by the name of David Torrey on here, Roosevelt. If you could throw him off, I'd sure appreciate it. Like this person here says I'm way off. Sharn Fafiran, not really attacking me. He just wants, he just disagrees with what I say. I don't mind that, but when you get these one-liners that are nasty, I don't particularly care for those people. So his name's David Torrey. Nice to see you, Roosevelt. Hopefully you're feeling well. Hopefully everything's going. You were denied food for not wearing a mask. There you go, Pam. It's exactly what I'm saying is happening. Exactly what I'm saying is happening. Yeah, Watchman, you're right about that. The arrogant one will stumble and fall, and no one will be to help her up. And I will kindle a fire in her towns that will consume all around. Yeah, well, that's even going to talk. That's going to happen to the AC too. The AC suffers the same fate, but don't we all? when we become arrogant and prideful, don't we all? At some point in time. Yeah, the masks were training for the vax. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, deplorable, you're right. In other words, they're going to shut us down completely financially. Yeah, I know that. Jesse Ventura has been compromised, Protocol 7. I don't care. I'm talking about his show that he put out about 10 years ago or whenever it was, where he was talking about all these different things. I know he has now said that the vax is a good thing. I know. People are very I get frustrated, yeah, quite a bit because people give up principle just way too easy, or they never really had any to begin with. Oh, well, thank you, Diana Carell. I appreciate what you're saying. Um, oh, I don't know about being a beautiful soul. A lot of people still don't understand why I do this, and why I don't care if YouTube throws me off. And by the way, I've had a couple of people now get a hold of me on Twitter who've opened up accounts elsewhere and loaded up my videos. And if you're watching here tonight, I know about that. I think I've answered a couple of you, and I want to thank you for doing that because frankly, I really don't feel like doing it. But those particular things, especially, there's one especially that the lady has set up for me, and I probably will use it, just so you know. Okay. Um, but at any rate, so on this thing here, Diana, it's a way to pay back karma. I served this evil government for 28 years in various capacities, mostly in the military, and I'm ashamed of that. Well, I shouldn't really say I'm ashamed of it. I'm not. The shooter, Mike Warburg, said it in The Shooter. He said when he found out how the government had used him, he says, well, I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm not ashamed of it either because the people that made him do the wrong, he didn't realize it. And that's kind of where I am, but still there's some karma that I need to pay back, and that's why I've done this. But thank you very much. Jeffrey, thank you, Mr. Jeffrey Perez channel. I appreciate that. Yeah, man is always trying to take over the world, isn't he, the Watchman? I know. Yeah, they've always wanted to. like I said, most of us just want to be with our wives and our kids, enjoying life, for eternity, right? If that's possible. We don't want to go ruling over other people. That's what these sick psychos and sociopaths do. Okay. Oh, Richard Schumann. I get so many. I'll go back and look, but it's probably off my timeline now. But I'll go back and look. Okay, that's just. I just get so much information from people, but I appreciate you sending me a DM. Thank you very much. Okay. Skin Blossom. Oh, oh, you retracted it. You didn't get it removed. Okay. Yeah, thank you. The Jinx 1 COVID 19 vaccines working list of possible adverse event outcomes. Guillain Barre, acute disseminated encephalomyelitis, transverse myelitis. Yeah, all those. Yeah, all of that. You're absolutely right. They want the control and they don't care what happens to you in the process. Yeah, Janet, that's right. Our birth rate's already dropping, and it's going to get worse with what they're doing, and that's of course what they want. Jane Swinford, I don't think they need the guillotines. Maybe as a tool to scare you into compliance. Most of the guillotines that I have seen that have been ordered were actually ejection parts of the ejection seat system. It's called a guillotine. So a lot of these different guillotine purchase orders that you've seen are actually part of aircraft ejection systems. Sorry, it's not quite what you think. I'm not saying there aren't some that they couldn't do this, but I don't know about 30,000 of them. Yeah, that's right, Jeffrey Lube Liberty, Jeffrey Lube Liberty. Yeah, it's just like I said at the beginning. SCOTUS has agreed to hear the case from Texas against the other 5 states that have caused all this. That's going to be very interesting. That will be very telling. I think Trump is in a position now, personally, from what I can view. The stuff that Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood are doing are kind of a sideshow. I don't see that going anywhere. I could be wrong. But some really good attorneys like Mark Pantano don't think that has much chance. I believe this thing from Texas can work. I can believe some manipulations in the Electoral College can work, which they're working on. And I think Trump has some parts of the military that could become a problem for those who are trying to unseat him. Yeah, I do believe that could be the case. Thank you, Roosevelt, for taking care of Anthony. Looks like you probably got rid of that other one too, and I appreciate that because he was just being demeaning and nasty for no reason. Yeah, that's another thing. Tyler, thank you for saying that. Masks are barely worn in Mexico, yet our southern borders open. None of this makes any sense. None of it makes any sense whatsoever. Oh, thank you, Roosevelt, for hitting the thumbs up. Well, I'm just blathering on now. Okay, everybody. Well, you didn't have a whole lot of questions about the situation that I brought up last night, although I think you're hitting all around it. The fact that Trump can't be trusted, that he's in this for himself, not for you, not for the American people, and that he has not been our champion. He has not taken down the deep state, which everybody thought he could do with his 4, 5, 6D chess. What he's done is he's destroyed much of America and much of the world. There's a scripture, by the way, it says, and by peace shall he destroy many, right? By peace shall he destroy many. Okay, I'll go ahead and go. I didn't want to take any more time here. War with China. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it won't. It will be for reasons other than what it appears to be. In other words, it'll be to cull the populations again. Uh, there's some really mixed up things going on right now. China and Russia and Israel are all, they're doing some stuff together. Uh, I think what it's really come down to, Roosevelt, in my estimation, is that some superior intelligence, I'm going to say it's Hillel ben Shakar or Azazel, some of these really bad fallen angel characters are in control. And they came to the world leaders some time ago and told them, this is what you're going to do. You're going to call the population, and this is going to be how you're going to do it. We don't care if you use war. We don't care if you pretend to hate each other. But you guys are going to do what we tell you to do. And I think that's what's going on, because this whole thing with COVID hit all at once, right? And all the leaders of the world are doing it together. It's like they're bowing down to some evil power that they're afraid of, or that they've made deals with. That's how I look at it. That's how the scriptures say it's going to be, and I think that's what we're seeing. Okay? Freckles, how you doing? Good to see you too. Okay. Like I said, I've gone on here a little bit too long. Thanks everybody for coming. There have been some really good comments here tonight. I think somebody mentioned Jeremiah and then Zechariah. Brandy Monica, have you watched the series of Life After People? No, I'm not. I very rarely watch any entertainment things at all. I mean, it's all. I would say almost never. So no, I haven't. Maybe one of these days, if I get the right kind of lady to sit down with, I'll enjoy it again. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, Revelations 13, 17, 18, Daniel 8, 11, Zechariah, and Jeremiah. Those are all important. Okay. What's for dinner, Roy? Nothing tonight. No, you cannot negotiate with these people that want to kill you. No, there is no negotiation with them. No. No, there is no negotiation. You can't negotiate with evil. You can't play the devil. You can't play the devil at his own game. You can't do it. The least you're going to get away with is compromising your principles. The worst is he'll kill you. Okay. All right. The minor prophets are up. Yeah, Malachi, Micah. Yeah, they are too. All right. Thanks everybody for coming. I'm going to go ahead and go. Let you have your evening. Again, with the internet connections the way they are, and I'm surprised that YouTube hasn't interfered with this transmission, but I'm glad they haven't. And looks like the bandwidth held up so that I could get this done tonight. Thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you next time. All right, out here for now.